Hey guys, Justin here with AmericanTrucks.com, and today we're taking a closer look at and installing the LED DRL projector headlights available for all 2014 and 2015 Silverado 1500s. Now these headlights should appeal to all 1500 owners out there who are looking to replace or upgrade a set of damaged or faded stockers with a factory styled set that will kick in some extras. For starters, you're looking at things like the aggressive smoke lenses, but you're also getting the modern projectors, and maybe my favorite touch here is that subtle daytime LED running light, which has been seamlessly integrated into the housing itself. Lots to talk about here at these lights, guys, so let's get into it. Now, when talking features, a couple things do come to mind here with the DRL options. First and foremost, again, you are getting that factory styled light, but with some modern touches and some subtle differences between an OE stock headlight. Now for starters, again, I think these are going to be a great choice for the Silverado owners out there who would rather stick to that simple OE or factory styling rather than getting into something that's going to deliver a very aftermarket or modified look. Now, the second big feature here to me with these particular lights is the inclusion of those LED daytime running lights right in the middle of the housing here, and that's where that modern touch comes into play. Now, these particular headlights do integrate those DRLs, again, as we mentioned, between the low beam and high beam housing here, and are very subtle even when the truck is turned off. You can barely notice they're on, but of course, once they're fired up, these guys will come to life and illuminate whenever the parking lights or headlights have been turned on. Final feature to me is going to be the addition of the smoke lenses. Now, this is a minor change from the stockers. As you can see, it's a very light smoke job here on these particular headlights, but it's enough to give the front end a bit more of that stealthy or aggressive vibe, and sure to flow with other smoked lighting you may have added to your truck. Now, construction will mirror that of the factory halogen headlights in a lot of different ways. We did talk about earlier the projector aspect, but that is going to be found up top here with your factory low beams, while the high beam housing below that will retain a reflector style housing, much like the factory headlights. Now, those DRLs, again, included right in the middle here of the upper and lower housings. And these particular lights do also kick in the amber turn signal bulbs and amber reflectors. Now, these options, I do want to say, hold on to that factory chrome inner housing here, and then they are topped off with that lightly smoked polycarbonate lens. Everything's been sealed up nice and tight to prevent any moisture or condensation over the years. Finally, guys, the lights have been given the DOT and SAE stamp of approval despite that smoke lens. That's always nice to point out. They are fully adjustable after the install, so you can aim them properly, and then they are backed by a 1-year warranty in case you run into any issues. Now, moving into our pricing segment here, guys, and these particular lights will come in right around that low $300 mark for the pair, which in my opinion, these will be priced right in line with a lot of other similar options on the site. And when I say similar, basically I'm talking to something that's gonna resemble an OE styled light, but maybe with a little bit of extras kicked in this case, those LED DRLs. Now, you can certainly get a bit more in appearance or aftermarket appearance if that's something you're into for a similar price point. But again, if you did want to stay true to that OE recipe with the modern DRLs, these are going to be one of the more affordable options on the site for you. But now we want to shift gears and get into the installation, and the site's going to call this a solid 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, taking you at least an hour to complete from start to finish. But now let's throw things out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
The tools you'll need for this project are an impact gun or ratchet, an extension, a 10mm socket, a 10mm wrench, a Phillips screwdriver, a pair of pliers, a pair of wire strippers and crimpers, a test light, and you'll also need to source some electrical connectors. Hi everyone, today we're installing a set of headlights on our Silverado, but first let's watch a short video on how to uninstall the stock lights.
All right, first step here, we have to uninstall our factory headlights. To do that, pop your hood. We're gonna remove the radiator shroud. Now there's a bunch of these plastic black push pin clips here. What you're gonna do is take a panel removal tool. I'm gonna start with this guy here. You're just gonna pry up on the middle section. Once that's up, you don't necessarily need to take it off in 2 pieces, but once that's up, you can pull it off all together just like that. Do that for each one along the entire shroud. Now that all those clips are off, let's just lift up on the shroud and set it aside. Next up, we have to head over to the wheel well to remove this one Phillips head screw. Now the reason we're doing that is because this entire trim piece that goes along all underneath the headlights and grille has to come off. So grab a Phillips head, we're just gonna take this one screw off in each wheel well. So once you have one taken care of, repeat on the other side. And once that's off, you can start cracking that guy loose. All right, next step here, just pull that trim piece all the way off and set it aside. All right, next up, let's get our grill out of the way. Now there's 4 10mm bolts at the top, so I'm switching over to an impact gun and a deep socket, so let's get those off. All right, now on the bottom left and bottom right corners, you're gonna find another 10mm for the grill. I'm switching over to an extension on my 10mm. All right, same thing on the other side. All right, so now we can just pull the grill off in one piece. All right, next step, let's unbolt our headlight. Now I'm working on our passenger side here. There's 2 10mm bolts up top we're gonna start with. All right, next up, behind where our grill was here, there's one more bolt at the bottom down there. All right, we have one more down here in the corner, right behind where the trim was underneath the headlight. I'm gonna use a 10mm ratcheting wrench for this guy just because it's at a tough angle. All right, so now we can just pull that straight back. And you just pinch and disconnect the harness. Just like that, set your factory light aside.
Now before we can install our new light, there's a couple of things we need to take care of first. First of all, we need to transfer over our parking lights and our turn signal bulbs to the new housing. And then the next thing we'll have to do is we need to add some connectors to our wires for the new light for the LED portion of it. So let's go ahead and get our bulbs transferred over first, and then we'll deal with our connectors. Now to transfer our bulbs over, all you're gonna do is grab a hold of the back of the connector, twist it counterclockwise until it unlocks, and then pull it straight out. Once you've got it out, gently grab a hold of the bulb and pull it out, and then we can transfer it over to our new light. And we'll reverse that procedure in the new light. We'll install the light, insert it into the housing, and then turn it clockwise until it locks. Now there are several different ways that you can use to connect these wires to your vehicle wiring harness. One way is to use a quick connector like this, and what you would do is just slide the outside edge over the wire in the vehicle and then feed your power or your ground wire into the other side of the connector. And then once you get it inside, go ahead and grab a pair of pliers, crimp down on the metal tab inside. That will pierce the insulation on the wires. And then you can go ahead and close the latch and lock it in place. Now the way that we're going to do it is we're going to use a T-tap. And it's basically the same thing as the quick connect that we just showed you. What you're going to do though is put this around the wire on your vehicle harness, like so. And once you've got this placed over the wire in the vehicle, you go ahead and close the lid to hold it in place. And then take your pliers again, squeeze it together until it locks. Once it's in place, then we can install a spade bit on the end of our wires on the back of our light. And then what we'll do is we'll just plug that in to our T-tap like so. Now to install our spade connectors on the wires, what we're going to do is just grab our wire strippers and strip off about 1/4 of an inch or so off of the end of each wire. Once you've got them stripped, go ahead and twist them together just to keep them from fraying. And then you can take your spade connector, slide your wire into it, and then using your crimpers, go ahead and crimp the spade connector over the wire. Give it a little tug, make sure that it's secure, and do the same thing for the other wire. All right, now the next thing we need to do is we need to find out which of these wires are positive and which one is a ground for our DRLs to hook up. Now we've already turned our parking lights on the vehicle. So what we're going to do is we're going to use our test light, connect it to a ground, and then what we can do is insert the probe on our test light into our harness connector here and find out which one lights up. Now it doesn't have to go in very deep. You just need to make sure that you're making contact. And there we have it. We now know which one is going to be our positive wire for our lights to connect to. So now as you can see, we've already got some T-taps installed on our vehicle. So our hot wire, or positive wire if you will, is going to be this purple wire with a white stripe on it. And the black wire is going to be your ground wire. So as you can see, we've already got our T-taps installed. So let's go ahead and connect our light up to it and get that installed. So now we go ahead and hook up our red wire to our T-tap that's connected to our purple and white wire, and our black wire to our black wire. Once we've got that done, we go ahead and plug in our harness to the back of our light. Now we can go ahead and put our light into place and secure it with the original hardware. Now we'll tighten this one down with our 10mm wrench. We'll tighten the other ones down with our 10mm socket. And you can repeat that process for the other light. And with our lights installed, we can go ahead and reinstall our grill and secure it with the original hardware. And we'll tighten them down with our 10mm socket. Now we'll install the bolts at the bottom of the grill. And tighten them down as well. Now we can go ahead and install our trim panel under the grill. And secure it with the original hardware. Tighten it down with our Phillips head screwdriver. And repeat that step for the other side. And finally, reinstall our radiator cover. And secure it with the original push pins. And that wraps up our review and install of the LED DRL projector headlights with the chrome housing and smoke lens for your 14 to 15 Silverado 1500. Thanks for watching, and remember, for all things Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.